get into the Word, again, we realize that this is the season that's up around the world. They conversate or they contemplate upon who they consider to be the gift giver. It just so happened to be they consider it to be a gift giver. It just so happened to be a guy that almost looks like me, about as fat as I am, gray beards, gray hair. They all put their whole focus upon this one guy that goes around the reindeer slave and being able to pass out. They almost get the concept because they're talking about giving out gifts. We understand that the real gift was the one that was given, not the one that's being able to give out. We really believe that the reason for this season has been for Jesus Christ to come. His birth had made so much news. It was so powerful. His birth made history. When I was growing up, we used to have in our history books 4 letters, and the first 2 letters used to be BC/AD. It's so powerful that when Christ came, time started. Everything was backwards until he showed up. It shows so much of what kind of a transition and what kind of a person he was. Everything was backwards. If you ever look at everything from BC, it was backwards. Everything was backwards. Nothing made sense. Every time you realize everything went minus, and then when Christ comes, it starts. So you talk about the significance of this one man named Jesus. One of the greatest gifts that the world has had, but one of the greatest gifts that also that this world has misunderstood. One of the greatest gifts that we see the glory of, but didn't understand what trial he had to go through to actually receive what glory we actually put upon him. One of the greatest gifts is Christ. The greatest man that has come to liberate so many people, yet in liberation we still feel like we're incarcerated. One of the greatest misunderstood gifts. So as we get ready to dive into the birth of Christ, I wanted to start a little different in this season. I wanted to start off like Isaiah. In Isaiah chapter 7, it's when he brings an introduction to who was going to come. He says he's going to call him, his name will be called Emmanuel, meaning God is with us. So they started off and they started to explain of who's prophetically speaking to the people and to the Israelites of who's to come. But then in Isaiah 53, not only do they talk about his entrance of a beginning, they prophetically talked about there's one that's going to come. This is who it is. This is what his name's going to be. But they also gave his destination in 53. It was surprising to know that in that book, they gave both the birth and the death of Christ. They gave not only the greatest gift that we were going to receive, but it also showed that his punishment and what he had to go through for us to be able to receive this great gift, which is life. So as we get ready to go into this tis the seasons to be jolly, I want us to understand that when he came for a purpose. He didn't come just to live, he came to really fulfill what he was supposed to. So we were able to have life. And Isaiah 53 starts off so fundamentally challenging, or probably much surprising, because normally you won't understand that that's what how they will start off the whole chapter. So as we read, I'm going to back up a little bit. I'm going to go through a little bit. But again, this one is the beginning. Today we're going to talk about the glory of God, the gift of God, the giving of God. We're going to understand just the beginning of what we call God in flesh, man, God is with us. So let's start reading. Who has believed our message, and to whom has the arm of the Lord been revealed?
He grew up before him like a tender shoot, and like a root out of dry ground. He had no beauty or majesty to attract us to him. Nothing in his appearance that we should desire him.
He was despised and rejected by mankind, a man of suffering and familiar with pain. Like one from whom people hide their faces, he was despised, and we held him in low esteem.
Surely he took our pain and bore our suffering, yet we considered him punished by God, stricken by him.
But he was pierced for our transgressions and crushed for our iniquities. The punishment that brought us peace was upon him, and by his wounds we were healed.
We all like sheep have gone astray, each of us has turned to our own way, and the Lord has laid on him the iniquity of us all.
He was oppressed and afflicted, yet he did not open his mouth. He was led like a lamb to the slaughter, and as a sheep before its shearers is silent, so he did not open his mouth.
By oppression and judgment he was taken away, yet the good of his generation accepted. For he was cut off from the land of the living, and the transgression of my people was punished.
He was assigned a grave with the wicked and with the rich in his death. So he had done no violence, nor was any deceit in his mouth.
It was the Lord's will to crush him and cause him to suffer.
After he suffered of his soul, he will see the light of his life and be satisfied. By his knowledge, my righteous servant will justify many, and he will bear their iniquities. Number 12. Read 12 again, please.
Therefore, I will give him a portion among the great, until the last spoils the strong, because he poured out his life unto death, and was numbered with the transgressors. For he bore the sin of many, and he has made possession of the transgressors.
Read 10 one more time.
Yet it was the Lord's will to crush him and cause him to suffer, and though the Lord brings his life, he will see his offspring.
That's great. Awesome. God, we thank you. God, we thank you for this time that you allow us to come together as a family to hear a word from you. And Holy Spirit, we pray that you reveal us and guide us into all truth as we're about to sit at your feet like Mary, that it will drip like milk and honey so we can taste just how good you are. Reveal to us your word, God, that's been a mystery to many. God, we don't only want to read your word, but we want to know the spirit of your word. So we thank you for this day, God. We pray that you speak to us past our ears to the depths of our souls so change can come from within and out, Father God. Thank you for this day that you made, that we may rejoice and be glad in you. Holy God, we thank you for being with us today. We thank you for leading us here today, God. We thank you for your word. In your precious name, Jesus Christ, we pray. We say. Amen. We pray, we say. Amen. I love, and it sort of surprised me when Isaiah 53 starts. He says that whom has believed our message, and to whom has the arm of the Lord been revealed. And as the chapter starts, I have to go back and figure out, when he starts like this, what message was he talking about? And I realized that he begun the message at 52. He started to prepare of who was to come. And then he asked the question, because he's talking to Israelites, people that understood the arm of God. They knew God. They seen God in his glory. They understood that when they brought him out from Egypt, they knew the power of God. They knew the provider of God, which is Jehovah Jireh. When they were hungry, manna came from heaven. They knew just what kind of a provider he was, because when they were thirsty, water came from the rock. They knew what he was, and he showed them this presence by saying that this is going to show you that I'm with you. I'm going to give you a cloud by day and a fire by night. So I was trying to figure out what report is he talking about. Then I started to come back a little bit in 52. It starts with verse, I think it's 13. It says, "See, my servant will act wisely. He will be raised and lifted up, highly exalted. Just as there were many who were appalled at him, his appearance was so disfigured beyond of that of any man, and his form marred beyond human likeness. So will he be sprinkled with many nations, and kings will shut their mouths because of him. For they were not told, they will see. And what they have not heard, they will understand." So he starts off in 52 by finishing that, by explaining this is the Christ to come. He's talking to the Israelites. For them to know God, that God was never supposed to come like this. God could not, number one, be man. Two, he can never be disfigured. Three, he's always had beauty because they've always considered God to be magnificent. They've always considered God to be glorious. They've always known God to be majestic. They've always known that when God comes, everyone knows that when he brought them out of Egypt, everybody in Jericho knew the news that you can hear Rahab says, "We knew your God when God was delivering the plague." So they knew that this was the kind of God that they were told from their forefathers and fathers and fathers. This is who God was. And so but here goes God. He's trying to explain to them that because of the Old Testament, they knew the word, but they didn't understand the spirit of the word. So God had to come in to become form of man, so he could be he could take the transgressions of man upon his back, so we could be liberated. Because every time he brought the law, man could never stick by the law, but God has always wanted fellowship with man. But because man could not stay with law, you can hear the heart of God from the beginning of time when he also stood with Adam and Eve. He's always wanting fellowship with man. But because of sin, and because of sin, and because of sin, and because, did I say sin? Because of this thing called sin or disobedience of what entered in because of Adam and Eve, It had to bring a representative that will come down and now take all that sin upon so we can truly have true relationship with God. So they're trying to explain this to the Israelites, that the form that in the forms that in you start to see that this is the proposition that was formed also in Genesis. They're starting to talk about His glory to come. You're hearing him talk about the gift to come. You're starting to hear the plan. So they're breaking it down to Israel. They're sharing that this is how it's going to happen. Someone has to die. You're hearing the conversation that this is who God's going to become when He comes. This is what's going to be of Him. This is what's going to be the outcome of Him. This is why we're able to live. But He has to go through this. And so He's sharing to them. He says, now who believes our report? He's like a tender root in the ground. He's like a root. You can hear that when He's a root in a dry ground. The beautiful thing about that, they're showing about God. What are they saying about God when He's a root in dry ground? That means He can produce in any ground. This is the kind of God we serve. That He's fruitful in any season. He's a God that can produce in any ground. I don't care what it is. You can be sand and God will produce. Because He's a root in dry ground. So they're explaining about it, but they're also talking to everybody that this is the gift. The gift has to come through this. He's going to come. He's going to be disfigured. And in the message, because remember, there's two prophecies of Christ. There's two gifts of Christ. The one of Him coming and the one of Him coming back. So the Israelites and stuff always had problems with the one that was to come. And you can also imagine, because it doesn't make sense. Why would a God and stuff that has delivered, why would a God that has brought wrath, why would a God that has brought protection and God that has had His hand, it doesn't make sense that a God like that will ever become a man like us. It doesn't make sense to them. And so you start to hear Israel, and you start to hear Isaiah prophetically just start to break down, this is what He's going to become like. But not only this is what He's going to become like, because Isaiah prophesied Christ. The New Testament prophesies us. But this is what we're going to become like. This is what we're going to have to represent. That there's times and stuff that when you look upon Christianity, they're going to despise Christianity because they're going to want nothing of Christianity. When you're going to stand for righteousness, you're not going to be the most popular person to stand for righteousness. So this is what they're saying about righteousness. They're talking about this is what it's going to look like. This is the gift of what for Christ. He comes in fashion. He comes in one of the greatest interests of them all. He comes in a manger. He comes in one of the biggest stage of them all. He comes in a manger. And I love the thought behind the manger. I was trying to figure out why would He come inside of a manger? Why would He be with animals and not people? Because like the Old Testament, like in the beginning in Genesis, the first Adam came when there was animals. So the second Adam had to come where there's animals. Why couldn't He be among people? Because when Christ came, He had to be around animals, and when you're around animals, there's no sin. When they talk about disfigured face, that's what kind of a beating that He went through. He went through, and the reason why I want to make sure I say this story, because I want to share with us why and what He did for us. Because there's times I think we have forgotten what this man has gone through, so we may have life. He was disfigured. I need a person. Andrew says, I want to pinch me. Okay, come here so I can pinch you too. He says, pinch me. I want a word that's going to hurt me. Okay, I'm going to hurt you too. He was disfigured. That means he was beaten. Okay. He was beaten. I want you to imagine this, because I think we've gone away from the price that He paid that liberated us. Disfigured. He had a beard. He had a beard. But by the time He was on the cross, His beard was gone. Imagine Him having a beard. Now, to all guys that had a beard, do you know how it is to pull a beard?
Yeah.
Wait a second, I'm sorry. Before He even got to pick up the cross, He was bruised, and by His stripes we were healed. That means He was on a whipping post. He started on a whipping post. And they used a thing called cat o' nine tails. And it wasn't just a regular whip, it was a cat o' nine whip. It was the kind of stuff that was able to, stuff, they had these hooks and nails and stuff in it. They had these things and stuff that he had prepared. And at the end stuff, they would get stripe after stripe. They just stripes. Now mind you, this is just a whip, but at the end was cattle knife. I don't think we realized the punishment that they said was upon, the punishment that they took, the punishment that this gift came, the punishment. He said, the nine tails, it had strips and stuff, but at the end it had like nails and it had hooks that by the time it grabbed, when they pulled it back, that's what caused the stripes, because it pulled the skin. It was to the place that if they would have hit him one more time, it was so bad that he could have died. But it stopped. So bad that they seen the bone and marrow through his back. This is what we're celebrating. We're celebrating the punishment that he took upon us, that we may have life. And you're probably saying, why am I? Can you guys feel this? Can you guys feel it? Can you guys look at this? What you don't realize, this is the beautiful thing. This is what makes us one body. This is what we're supposed to do. When one person gets hit, we're all supposed to feel it. So I'm glad that you're feeling it. That means we're one body. Why do I use this versus the leather belt? Because in reality, this only makes a sound. It doesn't feel the pain. There's two belts up here. One is leather, and I use this. The reason why I use this, I used to play Jesus for Nazareth. My brother-in-law used to whip me, and I was a Christ. And so I got beat with this, I got beat with straps, so I know which one hurts. And so my brothers didn't use that one. And I was telling them, when you stop, it really hurts. So by the time they actually kept me down, you actually will see stripes on the back. And if you guys know my brothers, they would pick me up and throw me down. We wanted to make it look as real because we wanted the family to feel it. Because for us to understand what he went through. We have to go back to this memory of revisiting of what this gift done. This was a gift of God. He's come to do those things. And as we get down to verse 10, he talks about, and he was crushed. Crushed meaning that he was broken. And he took, and you'll hear broken a couple times. So here comes Christ. Christ comes and he does two things. I want to touch just two stories. One is when we hear so heavily upon how he breaks the bread. He shares with us what kind of a brokenness is about to take place. I was broken for you. I will be broken for you. I'm going to be crushed for you. So he uses, as he emphasizes, bread. And you hear the first time that he uses to emphasize bread is when he's feeding the 5,000. You hear Christ feeding the 5,000. And as he feeds the 5,000, he looks upon it, and he talks to Philip and these guys and John, and he says, how many people do you guys think are here? He said, well, come on, man, follow up. There's a lot of them. He says, do we have enough food? How are you going to feed all these guys? There's not enough food and stuff. We ain't got enough money. And then I think it was Philip that found the kid that had the 5 loaves and the 2 fishes. And you hear Christ gets the bread and he breaks the bread. You see him in breaking pieces. And what does he do when it gets broken and he blesses it? He says, pass it around. Look what happened when the bread was broken and was passed. When it was broken and blessed. What happened? At the end, they had multitudes that was all left over. That was so much more that it filled 12 more baskets. So you can hear the broken. So where are you going with this, Pastor? There's so much stuff that God can do when it's broken. There's so many ways that he can use us when we're broken. There's so much that he can use in brokenness. This is why he had to be broken. This is why he had to be crushed. Because only things that can come from God through God is we have to. There's so many times that we desire things, but we can get it much more easier if we become broken. If we become broken in God, you'd be surprised at what God can do. See, he can't do nothing when you're whole. He can do a lot when you're broken. He says, I will be crushed. I will be doing this so that multiple people will become blessed. You can hear the gift and you can see the glory in that. He says, show me my glory. I will show you my glory. What he showed Moses, when he was standing between a rock and a hard spot, he showed him his backside. When he showed man and stuff about us becoming healed, guess what he's showing us? He's showing us his backside. And as he descends to heaven, guess what he shows us? He shows us his backside. His glory has always been from the back. Why has it been from the back? Why is the glory from the back? Because if it's from the back, that means that's what you're following, and that's where he's going, that means that's where you're going. And he says, do not let your heart be troubled. That's what John 14 talks about. Do not let your heart be troubled. You believe in me. Believe also who has sent me. And in my Father's house is many mansions. And if it were not true, I wouldn't have told you so. So he will show you, it shows us his backside. First of all, from the prophetic part of Isaiah. Of being healed. The transgressions that will be upon. That means everything. This is one of the gifts that God has given us through Christ. This is why I give glory to Christ. Why do I glorify him? Because he already bore all of our transgressions. He has taken all of our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was upon him. Everything that you can think about that you've been struggling with has been with him on the cross. Everything that we have been situated in our life and stuff that we feel like we cannot handle, he has taken upon him to let you know that you can, because I've taken it upon myself and I've put it on the cross. For every shame and every regret and every fall and every falter that we have gone through, for any pain that you can think about, you're going to go through, what you came from, what you're going to go through, what you're about to go through, he's taken it upon you. He says, I will take it upon you so you can realize that you can have it too. You can have a liberty through this. You can be set free from this, because I'm the one that's going to set you free. This is my gift to you. My gift to you is not only for the baby that came in the manger. My gift to you is that you may have life and you will have it more abundantly. That's my gift to you. Amen. My gift to you is that you will share in my glory. That's my gift to you. My gift to you is that you will always be with me and I will always be with you. That's my gift to you. My gift to you is the liberation that I have for you. That's my gift to you. That there's an enemy here, but you ain't got to worry about the enemy because I'm with you. That's my gift to you. My gift to you is something I'm going to give you, that I will liberate you, that you will have peace in it, so that you will have it to give it to others. That's my gift to you. The gift comes with the death. The gift came because he took it. The gift, I didn't want just to show you that he got beaten. I want to show you what he went through so that we can get set free. That's his gift to every single one of us that's in bondage right now. That's his gift to every single one of us that's struggling right now. That's his gift that he has for every single one of us that are sitting in situations right now. That's his gift for every single one of us that have broken relationships or have come from broken families or going looking at broken things. That's his gift. That he says, in this midst of all this shatterness, I will be the one that will come and will repair everything. I'm just like the one, go check out the potter's house. As the clay gets marred in his hand, I'm the potter. I will fix. That's my gift to you. My gift to you is to give you more grace. My gift to you so you can understand mercy. My gift to you, because of the price that I paid, is that you will understand how it is not to just have life, but have life abundantly. My gift to you is to understand that you have an open heaven that belongs to you. My gift to you, that you will have peace and joy. Peace and joy. My gift to you, that you will have grace and mercy. My gift to you is that you will have eternal life. My gift to you. This is my gift to you. This is my gift. This is what he represented. This is who he is. It's more than just in a form of man, but he represented so many other things. This is my gift to you. But because I didn't want to just go to the gift, I wanted us to remember the price that he paid for us to be redeemed. For us to be cashing in this price, this little thing called gift, which is his life. He said, my life was given to you. And I don't want the enemy to ever lie to you that you can't break out of the things that you're stuck in. It's a lie. I want you to know I've taken it to the cross. You have liberty. You can live. My gift to you is that you don't have to live in shame no more. Because I've forgiven you. I put it on the cross. I put it on my back, and I put it upon myself so that you will have peace and life and mercy and grace. This is what I had to go through in order for my gift to be released to you. A lot of us celebrate the birth of Christ. But if we really understood the significance of the death of Christ, we couldn't receive the gift without the death. This is my gift to you. This is my gift to you. For everyone that's sitting in this place, that's sitting in pain or suffering, I'm telling you, there's a release. It comes with Jesus. This is my gift to you. If you're sitting in a place of struggle, I'm telling you, it's only going to be but for a moment, but He has the liberty to liberate you from any kind of things that you're stuck in. For any chain or any ball that's around your ankle that doesn't belong there, He has the key to unlock those things. Because He says, everything that you're thinking about, I bore it on my back and I took it to the cross. That's my gift to you. That's my gift. My gift is my glory. This is my gift. This is my gift to you. And I'm going to close. All I wanted to talk about was that it's possible to live in freedom. It's possible to live without this constant pain and headache and just migraine of life. See, a lot of us go through life and stuff. Do you feel like you're going through life and you're trying to go and you feel like you're being pulled back? And you've tried all you can, you've tried scripture, you've tried prayers, and all of a sudden you got to the place where you just start to feel like He says, you know what? I think this is the way I'm supposed to be. And we just settled. Feel like it's stuff that I feel like a champion, I think I'm a champion, but I can't raise my hands to be a champion. I can't. So, you gotta hold me back. I'm trying to go through life and stuff, you just feel like stuff that just coming forward. Just gotta hold me back. Every time you think, does anybody feel like this? Does anybody feel like this is stuff that you know what liberation is? Just go. Does anybody, am I talking to anybody? That after so much time, you feel like you've been here for so long, you start to settle because you actually think that this is who you are. It's a lie.
Yeah.
This is the lie. My gift is that you be set free. And this is the tricky part about the enemy. Because he sets us free, but our mind thinks we're still caged. And so he doesn't have a hold no more. But we're so used to that that's all we think about. And we don't realize we've been liberated. The cell has been opened, but we don't know how to come out. Now the next thing that comes upon us is fear. The next thing about, this is where Christ comes. And Christ comes to give you life, that you can have it more abundantly. You still think that you're stuck in the same thing. You don't realize you've been set free. It doesn't have any chains on you no more. You've been set free. But now we got to deal with our mind. Now we got to realize in our mind that we've been set free. There's so many of us and stuff that's walking around like this. Like, did you see me earlier? This is the tricky part. Do you see the belt around me anymore? But in our mind, we think there we are. And what Christ wants you to know is the reality that I've set you free. That you will be free and free indeed. You're not even dealing with the situation no more. You're just dealing with the memory. And I'm going to close it with this. There was a person and stuff that went and got his eye checked. And because he had like a chip in there from work, so he goes to the eye with the doctor. They wash it off and they wash it off and they wash it off and they wash it off. But for about 15 minutes and stuff, he still felt like it was still in it. And it was weird because then the nurse and stuff that was washing it off just started saying, do you still feel like it's back there? Because they washed it out already. And then he says, yeah, you didn't get it, it's still back there. He says, there's something in there, I don't know. There's some part of a nerve in the back of your mind, your brain, your eye, that even if it's gone, the memory will still tell you that it's still there. And this is what Christ has come to tell the church. Your sins have been forgiven. You've been washed by the blood of the Lamb. You've been set free. By my stripes you are healed. You've been liberated. But because of that piece in the back, that memory, that we just still remember the sin, the enemy capitalizes on that. He still calls you a sinner, but you're not a sinner because you've been redeemed. He tells you that you're a failure, but you're not a failure because Christ has succeeded. He makes you think this way, but you're not this way. He says, I want you to think this way. This is why he says, I want you to take my mind. And I want you to realize this. I didn't go through all this so that you will still be trapped. I went through all this to let you know that you have been set free. My death on the cross was not in vain. I did every single one of those steps so you can know that you've been set free. I went through the iniquity, I went through the transgression, I went through the beating, I went through everything so you can know that you have been what?
Set free.
He wants you to know that this is scripture. It's taken care of. I put it on the cross. That you ain't got to worry about going to the cross. I put it on the cross. All you got to do is come and accept and walk through because you have been
Set free.
This is the gift. We have been set free. So we're going to tell the devil that he's a liar. Because he is. Why? Because
we have been set free.
He's a liar. We have been
Set free.
Look at your neighbor and tell him. You have been. You've been set free. This is the beautiful thing about Isaiah 53. It's the victory. It's not just a death story. It's a story of victory. It's that kind of a story. You've been set free. So I want you to gird up yourself and get ready to learn how to live and party like a free person. I want you to learn this stuff. I'm going to tell you, this is what we used to say back in the days and stuff, when you're in jail, or I don't know if anybody's in jail, don't raise your hand, don't tell yourself. But if you're in jail and incarcerated, when your time is up, you know what they tell them? They say, Taylor, roll them up. Say, Taylor, roll them up. Jason, roll them up. Chris, roll them up. What does roll them up mean? We wait for those words. Because everybody that's incarcerated to know when it means roll them up, you're getting set free. You're walking out. You roll up your mattress, and you pick them up. And then you're weird that Jesus says, pick up that bed. You're healed. Roll them up. You've been set free. This is what we talk about in incarceration. Roll them up. I want you to look at your neighbor and say, roll them up. Roll them up. You've been set free. This is the gift of God. You've been set free. You've been set free. He's come down and you ain't got to worry about it. There's no more crucifixion that's going to go on no more. There was one crucifixion. He lived a life so he can die, so no one else will be able to die. He's the atonement for every single one of us. He's done that. It is not in vain. He's done it so he can call your name and tell you to roll them up. You've been set free. The message of the gospel of Jesus Christ. You've been set free. Amen?
Amen.
Amen?
Amen.
I'm telling you, we want to close real quick. We'll close in prayer. But I want to pray with your mind. I want to pray over your mind because your mind is going to attack you and tell you that this is what you are. No, I'm going to tell you, this is what you are.
Yeah.
Your mind is going to tell you everything else outside of this, but I got to tell you that this is what they said that you are. You are set free. You are the son of God. You are the heir to the kingdom. This is who you are. You're the sons and daughters of a king. You are this. Everything that is promised belongs to you. Everything that is said, it belongs to you. This is the gift that God has given you. He's given us his son to let you know that you've been what?
Set free.
You've been
Set free.
You've been
Set free.
You've been
Set free.
so that you can live free. You can
Live free.
You can
Live free.
because you are free.
Set free.
Yes. Yes. You come to hear the gospel, you come to hear a liberation message. I got a message for you. You've been set free. And the enemy is lying to your mind, but we're going to rebuke the enemy because the devil is a liar. The devil is a liar. He's dealing with your memory. He ain't dealing with your reality. This is your reality. Your memory is what you used to be. I'm going to tell you what you are. You are set free. This is the gospel of Jesus Christ. This is the gospel. This is the gospel. And as we close in prayer, I want you to pray for the person that's right on the side of you. And I want you to pray over their mind. I want you to pray over their mind. That the enemy is going to try to attack their mind. We're going to try to attack them and stuff and let them know and stuff that this and this and this and that. We're just going to pray over their mind. Because you've been set free. It starts from the mind. Let's take on the mind of Christ. Amen? Amen.